There are moments in life when the usual words, the usual pace, the usual distractions no longer work. You sit in silence and you can feel it, a pressure from within, not panic, not fear, something deeper, a knowing, that time is slipping, and with it, parts of your potential are fading. 18 July is not just another date on the calendar. It's not about the outside world. It's about you. Yeah. It's about the inner deadline that no one sees, but you can feel. And when it arrives, it will not knock. It will not wait. It will simply pass and take something from you if you are not prepared. There is a final warning in all of this. A voice inside that keeps getting softer every time you ignore it. But on the 18th of July, that voice is not whispering anymore. It's screaming. It's asking you to wake up, to look at your life and finally ask, what have I really been doing? Where have I been hiding? And how long do I think I can escape facing myself? It's easy to say, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow is just a loop of broken promises if nothing changes today. 18th July is the line you draw in the sand. Either you walk over it with new strength or you stay behind in your old story. And if you stay behind, life will not wait. The world keeps moving. Time keeps cutting. The habits grow stronger. The silence grows heavier. That's why this is not just a motivational message. This is confrontation. The final one, not with anyone else, but with yourself. Look at your patterns. Look at what you've been avoiding. Look at all the distractions you've called entertainment. Look at the energy you waste on things that don't build you. That's not life. That's slow destruction disguised as comfort. And 18th of July is your last warning to stop pretending you don't see it. The pain you feel when you lay in bed, when you close your eyes and realize you've betrayed yourself again, that pain is not accidental. It's the compass pointing you toward what must be done. But only if you listen. Most people numb it. You must not. You must use it. You must let it burn away everything that keeps you weak, because no one is coming to do it for you. The power you seek, the peace you desire, the clarity you crave, it's all waiting on the other side of action. The moment you commit, the moment you say enough. Enough with the delay. Enough with the lies I tell myself. Enough of wasting time on what does not matter. That moment can be 18th of July, but it must be real. It must be sharp. You must mean it like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't need more information. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another video. You need decision, a clear one. That from 18th of July onward, everything changes. Not perfectly, not all at once, but with fire, with certainty, with commitment to finally become who you know you were supposed to be before the world distracted you. And understand this, not deciding is still a decision. If you let 18th of July pass like every other day, if you treat it casually, you will return to the same cycle. You will wake up weeks later and ask again, why do I feel stuck? The answer will be the same. It's because you refused to begin when you had the chance. There is a price for ignoring yourself. It's not always loud. It doesn't always come in the form of chaos. Sometimes it's just quiet emptiness, a silent dullness, the slow erosion of your courage until one day you wake up a stranger to yourself. But there is also a reward if you act, if you rise, if you stop waiting for clarity and start building discipline. Your 18th of July is not special because of what's happening outside. It's powerful because it can be the date you decide to change everything inside. And when you commit from within, the outer world shifts, the noise fades, the mind clears. Your steps become direct, you walk differently. You speak differently. You show up differently. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally told yourself now. It's time. No more delay. So take this seriously. Take this personally. Let 18 July be the day you stop running. Let it be the day you stare into the mirror and admit what's broken and decide to fix it, not later, not when it's easy, so not when you feel ready, but now, because ready is a lie. You're not supposed to be ready. You're supposed to be honest. and then take the step anyway. If you do, 18 July will not be a warning anymore. It will become your rebirth, your starting point. The day you finally took your life back, not because someone pushed you, but because you chose it. And if you ignore this, no one will punish you. No one will stop you. But deep down, you'll know you missed your moment. And that regret will echo far louder than fear ever did. You say you want to change. You say you want to grow. But every time the opportunity arrives, you find a reason not to. You hide behind your own voice, saying, I'm tired. I'm busy. I'm not ready. These are not harmless thoughts. These are not minor delays. These are the enemies you have trained so well, they now control your life. And on Azazan's 18 July, they will ask you again, will you serve them? Or will you finally silence them? Excuses have no loyalty to you. They don't care about your dreams. They are not protecting you. They are protecting your weakness. Every excuse you make is a wall that keeps you trapped in the same version of yourself, while the life you could have lived passes by untouched. And yet you feed these excuses daily. You give them your time. You speak them out loud. You defend them. And the longer you do, the harder it becomes to even see that you're doing it. That's why Essere 18th July is not just another motivational checkpoint. It is the moment of confrontation, the final round between who you are and who you were meant to be. And the only thing standing in between is what you keep telling yourself to avoid responsibility. There is no growth without discomfort. There is no discipline without resistance, and there is no real life without sacrifice. If you're not willing to suffer for your goals, you will suffer from your excuses. It's simple. You cannot live in both worlds. One must die. On the 18th of July, you choose which one. Some people wait for motivation. They think that when the right day comes, the right energy will arrive and they will finally act. That day will never come because excuses are not defeated with energy. They are defeated with truth. The truth that no one is coming, that your life is your responsibility, and that you've already wasted enough time waiting. Excuses don't leave overnight. They leave when you stop believing in them, when you stop giving them power, when you stop letting them walk freely in your mind. They are habits of thought, and like all habits, they can be broken, but only with awareness and repetition. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, a weaker version of you is being fed. And on EAZ 18 July, you must starve that version. You must look it in the eye and say, not anymore. If you're honest, you'll see how many excuses you've used to delay the things that matter. You'll see how often you've chosen distraction over discipline. You'll see how easy it's been to hide from effort by blaming circumstances. But 18th July is not asking you to be perfect. So it's asking you to be honest, to admit that the person holding you back has always been you. And there's no shame in that. Only if you stay there. The power comes not in being excuse-free, but in being excuse-aware. The first time you feel the urge to delay and you still act, something changes. The first time you don't let your mind escape through the back door of comfort, you begin to lead. That's the moment you reclaim control. And that moment can be 18 July. People often wait for external pressure to act. A health scare, a relationship breakdown, a financial collapse. Why wait until life forces you? Why not choose to break the pattern before it breaks you? 18 July is your permission to no longer wait, to no longer make your growth dependent on crisis. Let this be your internal revolution, not your final rescue. You understand something. Your excuses sound reasonable because they've been rehearsed for years. Your mind is a skilled negotiator. It knows how to talk you out of action. But results do not care about how justified your excuses sound. Results follow action, always. So ask yourself, what have your excuses cost you so far? What have they stolen? Confidence, energy, peace. What friendships, opportunities, or goals have you missed because you said maybe later? On the 18th of July, Phew. You must decide, are you going to keep living in the shadow of your own delays, or will you finally walk into the discomfort that leads to freedom? Yes, discomfort will be there, but so will growth. Yes, fear will rise, but so will clarity. Yes, the mind will resist, but so will your higher self. If you let it, you are not weak, you are distracted. You are not broken, you are buried under your own false narratives. And on F8 July, the digging stops, you rise. You rise without waiting for the perfect plan. You rise without waiting to feel ready. So you rise because the cost of delay has finally become louder than the comfort of staying the same. And when that happens, nothing can stop you because now you are moving not from pressure, but from power. So don't look for more reasons. You've had enough. Don't look for more signs. This is it. 18th July is the line. You either step forward into discipline or you step back into destruction. Choose wisely. Because once this day passes, you will know exactly which side of the line you stood on. And the consequences will not come from outside. They will echo within you. Let them echo strength. Let them echo truth. Let them echo a new you. Discipline is not punishment. It is the path, the only path. Every other method leads to weakness, confusion, and chaos. People want peace, but they don't want the discipline that creates peace. People want success, but they reject the process that builds it. Discipline is the price. And the Cheseketines Julis is the final reminder to pay it or stay broke, not in money, but in mind. You have relied too long on motivation. So you waited for the right feeling, the right time, the right energy. That's why you keep stopping. That's why nothing changes. Motivation is like weather, always shifting. Discipline is like gravity. It never leaves. The moment you understand that, you stop chasing feelings and you start building structure. And that structure will hold you when everything else collapses. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't wait for comfort. It demands action. It teaches you that showing up is more powerful than inspiration. And on S 18 July, you are being called to leave behind your emotional dependence. It's time to stop being a slave to your moods. If you only act when you feel good, you will never reach anything great. True freedom comes through control, not the control of others, but control of self, the ability to tell yourself what needs to be done and do it no matter how tired, no matter how distracted, no matter how resistant your mind becomes. That is real power. That is real peace. And it's born only through discipline. Most people are prisoners not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack structure. They drift, they wander, they wait. But you can't wait anymore. So 18 July is the signal. You either step into order or continue drowning in chaos. And if you choose chaos, no amount of excuses will save you. The results will speak for themselves. Discipline builds identity. Every time you wake up and do what you said you would do, you shape a new self. Not a self based on talk, but a self built on action. And people will feel it, not because you say it, but because you live it. Is discipline, has a presence. It doesn't beg for respect. It earns it in silence. You say you want to transform. Then discipline must become your closest ally. The gym, the study, the cold shower, the difficult conversation. None of it is random. It's all training. Every act of discipline is a strike against your lower self. And by 18th July, if you haven't chosen which self wins, you'll be dragged by the one that wants to stay weak. Let's be direct. Your future is not based on what you want. It's based on what you consistently do. Dreams are not rare. Everyone has them. Discipline is rare. And that's why most people die full of potential. Not because life was unfair, but because they refuse to command themselves. What matters is not what happens on one good day. What matters is who you become on the bad days, when no one is watching, when no one claps, when the work is heavy and the mind says stop. And yet you continue. That is the forge of transformation. That is the only way through. So look at your routines. Look at what you do with your time, your attention, your energy. That is your true belief system. That is your real philosophy. Words mean nothing without structure. Hope means nothing without follow through. 18 July is not asking for dreams. It's asking for decisions. You've tried comfort. You've tried waiting. You've tried soft living. Where has it taken you? Are you fulfilled? Are you focused? Or are you still stuck in the same cycle, wondering why nothing feels different? Break the cycle now. Use as 18th Julius as the foundation of a new code, a personal code, a set of actions you follow whether you feel like it or not. That's when life begins to open. That's when you separate yourself from the average, because while most people wait for life to push them, you begin to push yourself. And that pressure you apply to yourself, that heat you generate through routine and repetition, it's not suffering. So it's transformation. You're not punishing yourself. You're pulling yourself out of weakness, out of doubt, out of fear, and into discipline, which is the birthplace of strength. Discipline will not make life easier. It will make you stronger. And that's the point. You are not here to escape effort. You are here to become the kind of person who can carry effort with grace. And if you wait until you're comfortable, that person will never be born. So begin now. Wake up early. Stop negotiating with your thoughts. Do what you said you would do, and do it every day until it becomes who you are. No more tomorrow. No more I'll try. S18 July is your final reminder. Become disciplined or remain lost. Let this date mark the death of your weakness. Let it be the day you chose discomfort over distraction. Let it be the day your life stopped being a reaction and became a creation. Through discipline, through structure, through control of self. Not one day, every day. Until the end, your environment is not neutral. It is either training you or it is breaking you. The people around you, the things you watch, the way your space feels, these are not background details. They are the forces that shape who you become. And if you are not aware of them, they will silently destroy your focus, your drive, and your potential. You may think you are in control. But if your environment is weak, you will become weak. If your surroundings are loud, chaotic, full of noise and distraction, then slowly your thoughts become the same. 18th July is the moment to look around you and ask, is this helping me grow or is it pulling me back? Because there is no middle ground. Everything around you is either sharpening you or softening you. Most people are trying to change their lives while staying in the same environment that built their problems. That's impossible. You cannot grow in the same soil that poisoned your roots. You cannot develop focus in a place that feeds your distraction. You cannot build the discipline surrounded by people who mock structure, who laugh at your goals, who invite you back into comfort every time you try to rise. This is not about cutting everyone off. This is about becoming radically clear. Look closely. Who in your life actually wants to see you grow? Who challenges you to become better? Who respects your silence, your schedule, your seriousness, and who keeps pulling you back into old habits, old stories, old energy? You already know the answer. But on the 18th July, you must act on it, because the longer you ignore the influence of your environment, the more damage it does without you even noticing. Even your digital space matters. What you consume on your phone, what fills your timeline, the videos you watch, the comments you read, this is your mental diet. You cannot expect to think clearly if you feed your mind garbage every day. You cannot expect to feel strong when every scroll is pulling your attention into comparison, fear, and nonsense. 18th of July is the time to take control of your space, physically, digitally, mentally, and remove anything that weakens your purpose. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. And design means choosing your environment with care. Your room should feel like focus. So, your phone should serve your growth. Your schedule should protect your energy. Your relationships should reflect your values. If they don't, then they are not neutral. They are obstacles. You just haven't seen them that way yet. Look at your habits. Where do they live? On your desk, in your kitchen, on your screen. everything around you either reinforces who you want to become or drags you back to who you were. 18th of July is the day to clean, to clear, to reset, not because it sounds good, but because your future depends on it. Some people will not understand. Some people will be offended. But your mission is not to keep everyone comfortable. Your mission is to become the person you were meant to be. And sometimes that means being misunderstood. Let them misunderstand. Protect your space anyway. Respect your energy anyway. Grow anyway. You cannot meditate in chaos. You cannot build something new in a place that only remembers the old. The environment must match the level of the life you want to live. And if it doesn't, you must change it or change your location entirely. No more waiting for things to feel right. 18 July is the day to make things right. Think about it. How many times did you want to focus, but your environment pulled you into distraction? How many times did you start something important only to get interrupted by someone who didn't share your values? How many goals have you postponed, not because you lacked discipline, but because you stayed in an environment that punished it? Enough. The excuses end now. The blaming ends now. The tolerating ends now. You know what you need. You've known it for a long time, but you've been scared to claim it. 18 July is the permission to choose yourself, to protect your space, to build an environment that holds you accountable, supports your focus, and reflects your highest standard. It won't be perfect. It won't happen all at once, but every small change adds up. Rearrange your space, set new boundaries. Say no more often. Say yes to silence. Say yes to structure. And over time, you will feel it, the weight lifting, the fog clearing, the energy returning. Not because the world changed, but because you changed what you allowed around you. This is how new lives begin, not in some big moment, but in a quiet decision to remove everything that no longer belongs. Let 18 July be that decision. Let it be the day your environment stops controlling you and starts supporting you. Because when your surroundings align with your vision, progress becomes natural, focus becomes easier, growth becomes steady, and you no longer feel like you're fighting against the current. You become the current, direct, powerful, unstoppable. Pain is not the enemy. It is a signal, a message, a mirror. It shows you where you are still weak, where you are still stuck, where you are still avoiding the truth. Most people run from it, hide from it, numb it. But running from pain only makes it louder over time. And on AS 18 Jalif, it will be standing right in front of you, not to hurt you, but to wake you up. There is no transformation without pain. Pain is part of the process. It reveals what you've been holding onto for too long. It exposes the lies you tell yourself to feel comfortable. It cracks the shell of your ego, and it forces you to finally choose grow or stay broken. That is why pain comes, not to destroy you, but to guide you. You've been trained to avoid pain, conditioned to escape discomfort. But every time you do, you trade long-term strength for short-term comfort. And that trade is always too expensive because what you avoid today will return tomorrow stronger, heavier, harder to carry. Say at 18 July is your moment to stop escaping and start listening. When pain rises, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? That is the shift. That is how growth begins. Pain is a teacher. And the longer you avoid the lesson, the louder the teaching becomes. You have two choices, run from it or learn from it, and one path leads to strength. The other leads to regret. You already know what your pain is pointing at. You've felt it for months, maybe years, the habits you haven't broken, the decisions you keep delaying, the truth you don't want to face, that tightness in your chest, that restlessness in your mind, that heaviness when you wake up. That's not random. That's the message. And SEPS 18 July is the final chance to answer it. Stop calling pain unfair. Stop calling it suffering. It's feedback. It's precision. It only shows up where change is required, where honesty is missing, where you've settled for less than who you are meant to be. That's why it's sharp. That's why it feels personal. because it is. And if you numb it through distraction, through comfort, through fake pleasures, you don't make it go away. You only bury it. But buried pain grows. It grows in silence. It becomes anger, confusion, fatigue, and eventually emptiness. And once you reach that place, it's hard to hear anything else. That's why you must face it now, before it buries you from within. Says 18 July is not about waiting for the pain to stop. It's about becoming the kind of person who can carry it, learn from it, and rise above it. You don't become strong by avoiding discomfort. You become strong by walking through it with awareness, with courage, with the mindset that says, this pain will not break me. It will build me. Or ask yourself, what have you learned from your pain so far? Have you let it teach you? Or have you used it to justify weakness? There is a difference. One path builds wisdom. The other builds excuses. You must choose. And you must choose now. It doesn't matter where the pain came from. It doesn't matter who caused it. What matters is what you do with it. Whether you keep carrying it like a burden or use it like a blade to cut away everything that no longer belongs in your life. That's how healing begins, not when everything feels good, but when you learn to grow even while it hurts. And yes, it will hurt. Growth always does. Letting go always does. Becoming something new always costs something old. But pain is the price. And 18th of July is your reminder that you are strong enough to pay it. So the next time you feel pain, don't flinch, don't turn away. Sit with it, ask it what it's showing you. Listen, learn, and then move with clarity, move with discipline, move with purpose. That is how transformation begins, not through force, but through honesty. You don't heal by pretending to be okay. You heal by facing what's not okay and taking full responsibility for your reaction to it. No one will save you from your own pain. And that is a gift, because the moment you stop waiting to be rescued, you become powerful, you become focused, you become free. Say 18 July is not a date on the calendar. It is a breaking point, a turning point, a moment where you either carry your pain forward or leave it behind by transforming it into wisdom. The choice is yours. But understand this, if you ignore this moment, the pain will not disappear. It will only return later, deeper, sharper, harder to escape. So stand up now, look your pain in the face, say to it, I see you, I hear you, I will use you. Let that be your declaration. Let that be the energy you bring into this new chapter. A chapter written not by comfort, but by courage. Not by hiding, but by healing. Not by fear, but by fire. Let FS 18 Juliet be the day your pain stopped being your weakness and became your power. There are moments in life when silence becomes unbearable. Not because it is loud, but because it reveals what you've been hiding from. When all distractions fade and you're left alone with your thoughts, one truth always rises. You knew what to do. You always knew. But you didn't do it. That is where regret is born. And as 18th July is the last call to stop creating regret and start creating change. Regret is not an explosion. It is a slow burn. It builds in the background of your life. Every time you delay action, every time you make excuses, every time you shrink when you should rise, regret grows. And by the time it becomes visible, it's already heavy. Heavy on your heart, heavy on your focus, heavy on your soul. The truth is, if you don't act now, you will feel it later. You will feel it in the quiet moments. You will feel it when you see someone doing what you should have done. You will feel it when you lie to yourself one more time and realize you no longer believe your own voice. That is not fear. That is not anxiety. That is the weight of a life lived beneath your potential. That is regret. And that is what SS 18 Julia is here to prevent. It's easy to ignore action when there are no immediate consequences. You delay your workout, nothing happens. You skip the hard conversation, life moves on. You distract yourself one more day and the world still spins. But beneath the surface, something is breaking. The longer you delay, the weaker your inner strength becomes. And one day you wake up and you're no longer who you used to be. Not because of trauma, But because of neglect, you don't lose yourself in one moment. You lose yourself by ignoring one decision at a time. And on Hassa 18th of July, that next decision will appear again. You will hear the same inner call, the same push to take action, the same pull toward growth. And what you do in that moment will decide everything. If you ignore it again, you won't just delay growth. You'll damage trust, not with others, with yourself. And once you break trust with yourself, everything else becomes harder. Motivation fades, confidence fades, clarity fades. You move through life second guessing everything, not because you're lost, but because you know you betrayed your own voice too many times. There is no pain worse than knowing you could have done more, could have become more, could have spoken the truth, moved forward, started fresh but didn't. That is the deepest kind of suffering, the one that doesn't scream. It whispers and it haunts. 18th of July is not about fear. It's about decision, final decision, the kind that no longer negotiates, the kind that doesn't ask, "Am I ready?" The kind that says, "I've had enough of playing small, enough of postponing what matters, enough of pretending that you have time." You don't, not anymore. You think you'll have more energy tomorrow, more clarity next week. You won't. If you don't act today, nothing changes. You will carry the same resistance into every day that follows, the same mental fog, the same hesitation until it becomes your identity. Regret always begins with hesitation, a small pause, a slight doubt, a moment where you knew but didn't act. But what if that moment didn't happen? What if on 18 July you finally moved when you felt the call? What if for once you didn't silence your inner voice? That's what this moment is offering you. A break in the pattern, a way out, a chance to end the cycle, not through perfection, but through action. Not all at once, but the first step, the honest decision, the commitment you've been postponing for years. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable. All real change does. But discomfort is not danger. So discomfort is your signal that you are finally moving in the right direction. If you're not feeling resistance, you're still in your comfort zone. You're still avoiding growth. So let 18th of July be uncomfortable. Let it shake you. Let it pull you out of your routines, because it's better to be shaken by truth now than drowned in regret later. One hurts for a moment. The other lasts for years. You will not get this moment back. Time does not offer refunds. And once 18th of July passes, it becomes history. It becomes a point in time that either changed you or exposed you. Date you either claimed or wasted, and only you will know the answer. Deep down, you feel it. So move now. Act now. Speak now. Begin now. Do the hard thing. Not because someone is watching, but because this is the standard you are finally ready to hold for yourself, for your future, for the life that's been waiting on the other side of action. Regret is avoidable, but only if you're honest, only if you stop lying to yourself about time, about motivation, about who you are. 18th of July is not a threat. It is a reminder that every day you wait, you lose something. And everything you want is on the other side of what you're avoiding. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't let regret become your story. Let 18th of July be your moment, the one you remember not with shame, but with pride. The day you finally stopped hesitating and stepped into your real life.